All right, shalom to the elect of Israel. I want to start by giving all the praises, honor, and glory to whom it rightfully belongs, which is Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. And what I said was all the praises, honor, and glory belongs to Yahweh, who was the Heavenly Father, in the name of His Son, Yahweh Shai, who was the Messiah, in the name of the Holy Spirit, which in Hebrew is Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, every well. Peace, blessings, and salutations to the elect. And this lesson is, going into just seeing, the video Apostle Tahar did. All right. And also seeing another brother's video, the live stream he was doing, going into. So I got notification, I believe, a little earlier or something like that. But, anyways, I didn't know exactly what it was going into. I just saw the notification. Then I went into Apostle Tahar's page and I came across this. All right. Now, this guy, this man here, I'll just say guy. All right. Marlon, or whatever I believe his name is, he has a channel called The Saint or whatever. Okay. But, I'm just, I was watching. I'm only gonna play, basically what Apostle Tahar had played in the video he had done. Cause this man did a whole hour and something stream, and I really don't give a damn about this dude like that. All right. So but this just goes to show you the stupidity of people that, basically are not in the truth, man. All right, just want to talk. All right, okay. A lot of people are going to be put to death for the words they speak. All right, by the Lord. All right. A lot of people are going to be put to death by the Lord for the words that they speak. All right. So I'm gonna play this, and I'm not going to put the scriptures on the screen. I got the Bible here with me. I personally went to the car to do this. All right. The hair is on. So let's kick it off. Here we go. Lord willing, is edifying to the elect.
Last night's display was really all you need to understand about the Hebrew Israelites.
So that's better. Okay. All right, here we go.
Last night's display was really all you need to understand about the Hebrew Israelites, about all of these black religious peoples. They are dishonest, they are degenerates, they are thieves, they are trying to escape actually working. I realized what was happening. 20 people waiting to join the live stream. Why? Because they wanted to speak on the topic, or because they wanted to grab some attention and some clout for themselves so that they could become a YouTuber instead of a working man and get an easy dollar. I do have a presentation that I'm going to take you guys through, because I will not platform or debate any more of these imbeciles. I would like to say, and I mean this, 100% of the black Hebrew Israelites, or anyone that says I'm an Israelite or I'm a Hebrew, 100% of them are idiots. And let me tell you something that's...
And this is how you know, because he said 100% of them. Basically, anybody who calls himself a Hebrew Israelite is an idiot, right? And so, of course, he would include, I don't know if he knows the camp name, but, he basically is including GMS as well, all right? And I don't know if he knows about GMS or anything like that, but basically he would call us idiots too. So this also, goes out to us, all right?
Funny about them.
So let's listen.
Among many things. One thing that's funny about them is that they say black people are cursed. Does that not sound familiar? Is that not what the enslaver said? Is that not how slavery itself was justified? Then further, you dig into their ideas, which are not their own, their Bible, even though they call the white man they call him Edom, and they call him the descendant of so-and-so, and say he's evil. You read his book, the Bible. You read it in English, his language. Yet you want to claim that he is such a bad person. You follow in his footsteps.
All right, so let's deal with that. All right. Okay, so one, he said, we call we say that so-called black people. All right, you idiot. You should know that nobody's really black. We're brown. All right, you don't look like your fucking seat that you're sitting on the microphone, you idiot. But this guy, and this is like, why is he talking slow? He sound like a fifth grader. All right, but I'm here to bring out edification. Okay, it's just little side pieces, tidbits I gotta say. Okay, but he said that we say that black people are cursed, so-called black people, right? Well, I mean, yeah. We are cursed. Okay? What the hell are you talking about, man? Oh, boy. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get the scripture. This is easy, man. It's just people always on the outside. It's supposed to happen. Deuteronomy 28 and 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of Yahweh thy power, to observe to do all his statutes, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. Okay? So, and Moses, when you read the previous chapter, this is like a continuation, all right? But who was he talking to? Let's see, Deuteronomy 27 and 1. And Moses with the elders of Israel commanded the people, what people? The Israelites, saying, keep all the commandments which I command you this day. All right, then he goes on down and then it, continues on in the, chapter 28. All right. So he's talking to the Israelites, okay? And not only do we say so-called black people are cursed, but so-called Latinos and Native American Indians, all right? They're cursed as well. Why? Because they're the Hebrew Israelites that the Bible speaks of, okay? So, yes, we're cursed. Deuteronomy 28 and 45. It says, and all these people have to do is just talk shit, But let this highlight the stupidity of these people that don't have the truth. Deuteronomy 28 and 45. Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee and shall pursue thee and overtake thee till thou be destroyed. So these curses are going to come upon thee. What? It says, they shall come upon thee and shall pursue thee. Pursue means to chase. So wherever we would be on the earth, these curses, all right, that are written in Deuteronomy 28, verses 16 through 68, which, by the way, there are more curses than there are blessings. These curses would follow us Israelites wherever we would be at on the earth. Okay? This explains also why, when Jake moves out of the hood into a suburban area, it tries to live a better life, he still finds, trouble maybe with some more so-called white people, Edomites, all right? Or, some other Jakes around there, some other Israelites, so-called blacks, Latinos, and Americans, all right? But these curses will follow us wherever we would be at, man. All right? It says, and shall pursue thee and overtake thee till thou be destroyed, because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of Yahweh thy God to keep his commandments and his statutes which he commanded thee. All right? So these curses will happen to us, okay? I might have to. I think I'm gonna come back to this verse, but then he also said how. Let's take it back. Let's take it back. Let's hear from the horse's mouth. All right. I don't know why this thing. Okay, let's go.
You read his book, the Bible.
Oh wait, let's go back. I don't think this dude believes in the Bible.
Eat him and they call him the descendant of so-and-so and say he's evil. You read his book, the Bible. You read it in English, his language. Yet you want to claim that he is such a bad person.
All right, so he's saying that we read the Bible, which he calls the so-called white man's book. Oh, man, And first off, he said that we call this devil, Edom and everything, right? Well, I mean, yeah. He is. That's exactly what he is. All right. You know, look, man. Once again, that quote by W. Clement Stone, the truth, I'm just roughly paraphrasing it, but the truth is the truth, regardless of disbelief, lack of knowledge and ignorance or something like that. All right, you could look it up. Just go on Google, type in W. Clement Stone, truth quote. Okay? But, he said, you know, that we call him Edom and Esau and everything like that. Well, listen, if you hear somebody saying something, shouldn't it behoove you freckle egg to go ahead and search or at least try to get some understanding of why somebody's saying something, you know, instead of just getting your panties in a twist. But anyways, this is the book of Proverbs chapter 18 and verse 13. It says, he that answereth a matter before he heareth it, it is folly and shame unto him. Folly means foolishness. So if you answer in a situation, all right, if you answering something, okay, before you understand what's going on, it's a folly, it's foolishness and shame to you. All right, you look stupid, man. Okay, and I bet you this man has not tried to understand, and even if he has, and he still doesn't get it, he's just blinded. All right, but if he hasn't, then that's stupidity on his part. This is the book of Ecclesiasticus and the Apocrypha, also known as Sirach, chapter 11 and verse 7. It says, blame not before thou hast examined the truth. Understand first and then rebuke. Okay, so you have to understand the situation first, then, make your judgment on it. All right, you have to understand, and I bet you this man doesn't understand. Okay, but to deal with him talking about, and this is he's not the only person that said this. A bunch of you so-called black niggas out there said this. All right, talking about Bible is the white man's book. How the hell is the Bible the white man's book, and at the end he loses, you idiot? All right, this Bible is not the white man's book. Okay, first off, these scriptures weren't even written first in book form. Okay, let's get that straight. The scriptures were not written in book form. First off, they were written by prophets, all right, and men of the Lord, okay, on scrolls, all right, and the time that these different things had happened, all right, and the time that they themselves wrote these things, all right, and they got carried on, and later on throughout the course of time, it got put in the book format here for us today, all right. Talking about this is the white man's book. Okay, and specifically the King James version. King James was a so-called black man. All right, and you talking but let me get this real quick, man. All right, this is the book of Psalms, chapter 147. Hold up, because I already probably know I'm about to get. All right, book of Psalms, chapter. What the hell is it? Slovakia, I didn't say that. But Psalm chapter 147, verse 19. He, talking about the Lord, showeth his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. All right? So the Most High, all right, he shows his word unto his people, the Israelites. His statutes and his judgments unto Israel. He gave us the law, statutes, and commandments. All right? His word, these scriptures are for us, man. This is our book. He gave this to us. Okay, and it has our history in it as well. All right. And let me get this real quick. Talking about this is the white man's book. Oh yeah? Well, how about this? This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 34 and verse 16. Seek ye out of the book of the Lord and read. All right? Seek ye out of the book of the Lord and read. What is the book of the Lord? It's the Bible. Okay, well, it's not some other, mystical book sitting somewhere on the top of the mountains, with the clouds, flowing around it that we got to climb to. No, the book of the Lord is the Bible. Okay, and this Bible, All right, how the hell is the white man is not so powerful to where he could write a book that, basically, because these scriptures, right, the things that's written in these scriptures, basically, you got prophecy that has yet to happen, and you got prophecy that has already happened in the past, and certain things have already been fulfilled, okay? And an example which ties into the point I'm making right now about what this nincompoop said, all right? He said, we reading it in English, okay? Well, yeah, because guess what? The prophecy, all right? And we also read in Hebrew. Some brothers know how to read Hebrew. But the prophecy also said this, and this also goes to show why we, read it in English. Jeremiah 17:4, and thou, even thyself, shalt discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee, and I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not, for ye have kindled a fire in mine anger, which shall burn forever. Yeah, we discontinue from our heritage, our customs, our ways, our traditions, all right? And it was beaten out of us in slavery, okay? So we fell away from that, all right? And us so-called black people, got colonized, all right? We were enslaved, all right? And yeah, they taught us English, okay? They taught us English, man, all right? So, but nevertheless, the word of the Lord is still what it is, okay? Once again, this book is not the white man's book, okay? It's a bunch of, it's basically, once again, these are different scrolls and things written by men of the Lord, all right, that through the course of time have been processed into a book for us to read now, okay? But this is not the white man's book, okay? You think the Most High can't, wouldn't give us something here for us now today? Especially the fact we're his people, all right? And somebody might say, well, yeah, you're proving it out of the Bible. Well, yeah, I believe in the Bible. What the hell else am I supposed to prove it out of? Okay? What else am I supposed to respond to this man out of? Okay? I claim to believe this faith, all right? We claim, us like-minded brothers, we claim to believe this faith, okay? And, we believe in the Bible. So, of course, we're going to come out of the Bible. All right, it's really just these people are stupid, man. Let me get this while I'm thinking about it. I don't want to forget to read this. Sometimes, man, you could just smell the pride off of people, like this dude, man. I smelled, like, you could just sense the pride, man. It's this guy. Pride is a mother effer. All right, this is lucky. All right, you know what? Let me get this one. I think this is the one I'm looking for. All right. Yeah, it's Proverbs 19:29. Judgments are prepared for scorners and stripes for the back of fools. So they got judgments that are going to come to him by the Lord, like this man. If he doesn't repent, all right, this man has a set judgment coming for him. All right, but let's continue on. Let's hear what he got to say. This is stupidity, stupid dumbness of people. I'm going to start using that word. Stupid dumbness.
You follow in his footsteps. You make up idiotic ideas that make you feel better about who you are, which is nobody. Instead of trying to become someone relevant as a man, you retreat because you don't believe in yourself. So you retreat and you settle for calling yourself a Hebrew Israelite, saying you're the descendant of people who matter. You're not somebody who matters. You're the descendant of someone who matters. It's a custom of someone who matters. It's a custom.
You hear this dude, man? So what? We can't call ourselves Hebrew Israelites now, all right? Because you feel like it's basically his argument is saying because he thinks we're nobody, as a man. So we call ourselves Hebrew Israelites. No. He just doesn't understand prophecy. All right, it's all over the scriptures how we will wake up to who we are. All right, I mean, that's one of the beautiful things about understanding prophecy, man, because the world moves according to prophecy. Okay, if you understand prophecy, you understand things. Okay. Okay. But let me take that back a little bit.
Saying you're the descendant of people who matter. You're not somebody who matters.
You're not somebody who matters.
So you retreat and you settle for calling yourself a Hebrew Israelite, saying you're the descendant of people who matter. You're not somebody who matters. You're the descendant of someone who matters. It's a custom.
So we can't call ourselves. So he would be fine though if we, called ourselves Black, Latino, Native American, Indian, and all these different types of things, man. All right. He would be fine with that. Okay. But anyways, and those are bywords that were placed on us by our slave masters. Okay. By those who colonized us, conquered us, and everything. Those were terms put on us by them. All right. Look, talking loud and gritting your teeth and everything, that doesn't change facts. All right. Facts don't care about none of that, man. All right. This is the book of Ezekiel, the 37th chapter, and verse 12. Therefore prophesy and say unto them, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, behold, O my people, I will open your graves and cause you to come up out of your graves and bring you into the land of Israel. Right? So, but the point is, the Lord said he would open our graves because we would be spiritually dead. All right, Proverbs 21:16. All right, dry bones. Our people would be out without this truth. All right. Not knowing who we are, etc. But the Lord said he would bring us out of that dead state and start waking us up to who we actually are. Okay? This is another one. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 44, right? In verse 3 it says, for I will pour water up. Let me start from the top, to read into it. It says, Isaiah 44:1, yet now hear, O Jacob, my servant, and Israel, whom I have chosen. Thus saith Yahweh that made thee and formed thee from the womb, which will help thee. Fear not, O Jacob, my servant, and thou Jeshurun, whom I have chosen. For I will pour water, which is the truth, upon him that is thirsty, and floods upon the dry ground. I will pour my spirit upon thy seed, and my blessing upon thine offspring. Right? Verse 4, and they shall spring up as among the grass, as willows by the water courses. And this is talking about, our people waking up to who they are. So it's no, coincidence or no, wannabe. We're not, just a bunch of wannabes. No, we're actually the Hebrew Israelites, and prophecy is taking place that we're waking up. Okay, So us calling that isn't by, just, us calling ourselves that's not just by coincidence, or out of anger. Okay, let me listen. Let's listen to the rest of this. It's always somebody's bald head.
Descendant of people who matter. You're not somebody who matters. You're the descendant.
You're the descendant.
Listen to this shit. This is crazy. This is pure stupidity, and it's one of its, smallest microscopic
forms. A Hebrew Israelite, saying you're the descendant of people who matter. You're not somebody who matters. You're the descendant of someone who matters. It's accustomed to that trope of the privileged white kid when he gets pulled over. He says, do you know who my father is? Do you know who my father is? Meaning I am nobody. But there is one greater than me who came before me. And based on that person, I'm somebody. Well, here I tell you what.
Listen, if we're saying we're the descendants of a nation of people, aka the Hebrew Israelites, the nation of Israel, what the hell would that make us? Israelites, you fool, you dummy, you bald head. That fucking microphone is squishing your goddamn bald ass head, man. It's making your brain into a piece of fucking tinfoil, man. You know, making your brain into steel wool, man. You know, the fucking tight ass microphone. All right, your bald head, you don't got no hair up there whatsoever to even think. You know, maybe if you had some hair, you probably would think straight. But anyways, right? If we're saying we're the descendants of these people, the Israelites, not just because he tried to use a little stupid reference talking about, you know who my father is? All right. Well, one, hey, our Father is the Heavenly Father, Yahweh. Okay, and He said we're the greatest people on the nation. We're the greatest nation on earth. Deuteronomy 7:6. Okay. Also, once again, if we're saying we're the descendants of those people, which, by the way, this guy doesn't understand reincarnation. All right, we're those people, you know, coming back again. All right, but that's another point. All right, but if we're the descendants of those people, guess what? We're Israelites, you dummy. All right. It's not just one singular person, so you can't even use that stupid ass white boy cop reference. All right? We're the descendants of those people. Okay? And really, you know, we're them coming back. All right? You know? But if we're calling ourselves the descendants of them, all right, that means, you idiot, we would be them. Oh my gosh. I know I said it like 4 times, man. All right, but people are just so stupid, man. All right, like I forget who that guy is, man. That comedian that said people say stupid shit everywhere I go. Yo, it's just, oh man. Anyways, let me go ahead and get this oh man, let me go ahead and get this this right here. Anyways, Deuteronomy 28. We'll come back to this. Deuteronomy 28 and 45. Moreover, all these, see, this is the importance of the milk, man, because you got to know the milk. Milk, whoo. A lot of people in the world's foolish questions and rebuttals and arguments. Just the milk could tear it at the shreds. All right. You see, look, you have to believe this truth for yourself, man. Okay, because once you believe it, all right, you study, and as Apostle Paul said, you know, or as it was written in Acts, you know, how basically the church of Berea, all right, after Apostle Paul came and preached to them, I believe Silas was with them as well, Salak if I'm wrong. But anyways, after he went and preached to that church in Berea, they went and searched the scriptures to see if those things that he had said were true. And you got to do the same thing. And when you do that, and you look it up for yourself and learn these scriptures for yourself, you know, of course you get taught, all right? All right, but you got to, you know, go to it yourself, see what it's talking about yourself, and see what we and our apostles, the elders of Great Millstone, are saying is true. And if the Lord opens your eyes, you can see that what we're saying is true. That even, you know, solidifies your faith even more. And you see it for yourself, that solidifies it even more, man. Okay, and something that's solidified or solid is hard to break. Okay, when you got stupid dust heads like this dude, you know, just popping out the blue, man. Lord gonna crack his fucking melon open. Anyways, Deuteronomy 28 and 45. Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee and shall pursue thee. You know, the point is in verse 46, but I'm reading into it. It says, and overtake thee till thou be destroyed, because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of Yahweh thy power to keep his commandments and his statutes which he commanded thee. Verse 46, and they, the curses, shall be upon thee. Who was Moses talking to? Remember we went to before, the Israelites. Shall be upon thee, the Israelites, for a sign and for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever. First off, it said the curses would be on us for a sign. A sign of what? A sign showing us that we're the Israelites, man. Okay, these curses apply to you, all right, because they were placed on the Israelites, right? So they happen to you, all right? That means, you know what? You're an Israelite, all right? You're basically, you know, you're basically an Israelite, Okay. Then it said, it said, and for a wonder, and then it said, and upon thy seed forever. Meaning these curses would be generational. Okay, they would be on the descendants of the Israelites, man. They would be on the descendants. Okay, so that would prove what? The descendants of the Israelites are Israelites, you stupid idiot. Oh my gosh. Stupid, man. People in the world, man. It's just, oh my gosh. What's wrong with you? You know? What is wrong with you, man? These people, I mean, they just don't got it. You know, let me get this real quick, because this guy, you know, is renowned a little bit. This is the book of Ecclesiasticus, also known as Sirach, chapter 3. And it's just, you know, sometimes, like, the stupidity infuriates you, man. With Sirach 3 and 19, many are in high place and of renown, right? You got a lot of people that have high statuses, so-called high statuses, right? And they're renowned. They're very well known, famous, and whatnot, right? But mysteries are revealed unto the meek, okay? Mysteries are revealed unto the meek. You know? You read about, let me get it. Let me just get it. All right, I didn't mean to make this lesson too long, you know, or listen to whatever, you know, the rest of this clip here. All right? But 1 Corinthians, let me get it real quick. 1 Corinthians chapter 1. Oh, man, come on. Pages sticking together. 1 Corinthians 1 and 20, starting verse 26. For ye see your calling, brethren, how that not many wise men after the flesh, you know, people with so-called smarts, all right, like this dude would claim to be, not many mighty, you know, strong people, athletic people, not many noble, you know, people so-called high status, says are called, right? The Lord ain't called a lot of people like that, which this world glorifies, right? Verse 27, but the Most High hath chosen the foolish things of the world to confound the wise, and Most High hath chosen the weak things of the world to confound the things which are mighty, and base things of the world and things which are despised hath the Most High chosen, yea, and things which are not, to bring the not things that are. Let's continue.
That's almost reasonable, because at least his father is alive, and at least you know his father is connected to him through real lineage and DNA. These idiots are talking.
Oh yeah, and by the way, we don't need, like, look, man, we don't need lineage, and we don't need you know, no type of ancestry.com type of thing to prove what the Israelites. The scriptures say what it say. All right, if you don't believe it, you just don't believe it. Who gives a damn? Okay, and you're gonna get destroyed at the end of the day. All right, but the prophecies of the Lord, all right, the prophecies of the Lord are written in these scriptures, man. Okay, and there's no denying that the so-called blacks, Hispanic, Native Americans are the Israelites. Okay, if you can't see it, you just can't see it. Simple. This is another one I meant to get. Genesis 49 and 1. It says, and Jacob called unto his sons and said, gather yourselves together that I may tell you that which shall befall you in the last days. Jacob, whose name was later changed to Israel, he had 12 sons, and they had 12 tribes. All right, and we're their descendants. And he told them what would happen to them in the last days. All right, so that should tell you something. Okay, that should tell you something. All right, that should really tell you something.
About a fictional book claiming to be a people from thousands of years ago, lineage and DNA. These idiots are talking about a fictional book claiming to be a people from thousands of years ago with no damn proof. I tell you another thing, whether it's the white Jews that are today in Israel or the idiotic folks who call themselves.
Oh, so they could also, he could call them Jews, right? The white Jews, so he could say that, right? But we can't.
The black Jews in the United States and around the world. If you are truly the chosen people, where's the proof? You live in poverty, filth, and despair.
You just said the proof. We live in what? Let me bring that back. He said, we're the chosen people. Where's the proof? Then he said the proof. Oh, man.
On the world.
Oh, man.
If you are truly the chosen people, where's the proof? You live in poverty, filth, and despair.
Stupid. All right. Let me get this real quick. This is the book of Deuteronomy. Oh, man. I hate stupidity, man. Deuteronomy chapter 28. Deuteronomy 28 and 16. cursed shalt thou be in the city, and cursed shalt thou be in the field. Right. Now, the field is talking about the world. Anywhere in the world, the Israelites would be cursed. But it says, cursed shalt thou be in the city. That's why you see, so-called blacks living in the hoods and things like that, in poverty, okay, despair, all right? It's like you see so-called Latinos living in the same type of conditions, man, because I see the same conditions. I work around, in Latino neighborhoods sometimes. I see the type of conditions they live in. It's just like the type of conditions so-called black people live in. We're the Israelites. And these curses, all right, will come upon us. Cursed shalt thou be in the city. You fool. You just gave the proof that we're the Israelites. You just gave a piece of the proof. Okay, that's one major clue. And once again, these curses are being on us for a sign. All right, stupid Marquett. I want to say something else. maggot, F instead of M. All right, but that's I heard this and I was like, what? You know how you just hear stuff and you be like, what?
You don't get along with your women. You have no leadership over them.
You have no leadership over them.
Oh yeah, and by the way, you saying it like if we're the Israelites right now, we should be on some high up nation on the earth, on top right now. No. That's not what the Lord. That's not how the Lord wanted it right now. We would be under our enemies. We will fall. Okay. We will be in a lower state right now. The Messiah is the one that got to come and get us. Deuteronomy 28:68. No man shall buy thee. No man would redeem us or get us out of this condition we're in except for Yahushua. All right? Simple as that.
And I observe your behavior today, and it is wicked. We're going to get into it. When I look at the Hebrew Israelites, they're fat, dusty, dirty, and ugly. Where's the God in that?
Where's the God in that?
And that's the thing. Like, people, like that other dude, Anton Daniels, he tried to say the same thing, about, Hebrew Israelites' appearances and all that. Well, one thing, for brothers that do, are like that, look, you got to understand, man. Look, we dead to this place. Now, I'm not saying, you shouldn't take care of yourself, and things of that nature, right? Because, I mean, brothers do take care of themselves, man, okay? But brothers ain't all into the looks like that. Some brothers ain't all into the looks like that. Some brothers, don't care, okay? It's just, for what? Not trying to impress no woman. Not saying, don't, like, for example, don't bathe. Don't buy don't buy any new clothes if your clothes rip up or whatever. All right? But brothers take care of themselves, man, and we don't have to look all rich and expensive. The scriptures say, feed me with food convenient for me. We don't got to do all that. We don't have to try to look expensive, like a fucking poodle. All right? Like this nigga Marquett. We don't have to Marquett, whatever this name is, all right? We don't got to look like no clean cut pooch. All right? We look like men, okay? Sometimes some brothers maybe look rugged than others, but that doesn't even matter. All right? The scriptures talk about how to let me see if I can find it actually. Okay? Want to get it, I mean, brothers do talk about the health thing, being out of shape and all that. All right? Which is definitely something to work on. Okay? But you act like, some of these so-called high-value people, with these podcasts ain't out of shape neither. Okay? I'm just trying to find a certain precept real quick. Salakia. All right, here we go. This is 1 Samuel chapter 16, starting at verse 6. No. I'm going to start at verse 4. It says, "And Samuel did that which Yahweh spake, and came to Bethlehem, and the elders of the town trembled at his coming, and said, Comest thou peaceably? And he said, Peaceably. I am come to sacrifice unto Yahweh. Sanctify yourselves, and come with me to the sacrifice. And he sanctified Jesse and his sons, and called them to the sacrifice. And it came to pass that when they were come, that he talking about Samuel, looked on Eliab, and said, Surely Yahweh's anointed is before him. But verse 7, but Yahweh said unto Samuel, Look not on his countenance or on the height of his stature. Don't look at his face, all right, the height of his stature, his height and everything like that. All right, which is what? His outward appearance. It says, because I have refused him, for Yahweh seeth not as man seeth. All right. Yeah, the Most High don't look at people like, regular men do, especially not like this fool, right here you see on the screen, right? Like a damn donkey, like that. He like that zebra off of Madagascar, man. In the face. I could, kind of see that a little bit. But it says, for Yahweh seeth not as man seeth. For man looketh on the outward appearance, but Yahweh looketh on the heart. All right, so the Most High, basically, he looks on the inward person, okay? Verse 8, then Jesse called Abinadab and made him pass before Samuel, and he said, Neither hath Yahweh chosen this. And Jesse made Shammah to pass by, and he said, Neither hath Yahweh chosen this. Again, Jesse made 7 of his sons to pass before Samuel, and Samuel said unto Jesse, Yahweh hath not chosen these. And Samuel said unto Jesse, Are here all thy children? And he said, There remaineth yet the youngest, and behold, he keepeth the sheep. And Samuel said unto him, and Samuel said unto Jesse, Send and fetch him, for we will not sit down till he come hither. And he sent and brought him in. Now he was ruddy. Now ruddy goes into somewhat, effeminate, but King David wasn't effeminate. He just didn't look warlike. All right. It says, and with all of a beautiful countenance and goodly to look to, and Yahweh said, Arise, anoint him, for this is he. So the point is, the Most High don't look on men out, on people like, regular man does, man. All right. But this dude is a fool. Okay. No understanding in pride, because since the pride emanated from this guy, man. All right. But the Lord gonna deal with him in just time if, he's not one of the elect and repents. So it is what it is. You gotta let these clowns, have their time, because they supposed to, fill their lots too. Everybody's lotting on the righteous side. Some people's lots are on the wicked side unto destruction. All right. So hey, with that, giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakhakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, Everwell. Peace, blessings, and salutations to the elect. Shalom to the elect.